It's Matt, Angus, Victor, how is it going, boys? Obviously, it's been a little bit of time since I last spoke to you. By the looks of things, life has changed quite a bit. Just before we jumped onto the call, you said that you are now traveling around the world, which is beautiful. I'm very, very happy for all of you. But before we kind of dive into your story, I guess perhaps one of you can you explain a little bit about what it is that you do, what service, what niche you're in, what your monthly recurring revenue is at this point in time? I don't know, Matt, maybe you want to take it away.
For sure. So right now, our company is called Vertical Marketing. We work with gym and studio owners predominantly in Australia right now, although we're looking to scale it sort of internationally, especially into America, potentially England, wherever else this year. And what we do, we give them access to some CRMs on Go High Level. We run their Facebook ads, we run their SMS marketing, we do their database reactivations for them. And right now we're sitting around the $25,000 a month mark.
Beautiful. And guys, whereabouts are you calling from today?
We're calling from Canggu in Bali.
Yes, let's go. Okay, all of this is going to make more sense to the viewers a little bit later down the line. But okay, let's take this right back. Let's take this back to even before we had a conversation. I was listening back to the call, and if I remember correctly, at that point in time, you guys had been working on the agency for about 3 months, right? Can you kind of tell me a little bit about how that experience was in those early stages when you were trying to get this off the ground? You were struggling a little bit. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so pretty much the first 3 months we were completely clueless, but we were just hustlers. Like we were just trying to make something work. We just got done at school. So yeah, we had time on our hands. We were trying to make something work. And we spent the first 3 months in the trade niche. So pretty much just hopping from each trade, not getting results, thinking it's the niche's fault, and hopping into the next niche. And we were just cold calling, trying to hop on sales calls, probably booked like 100 sales calls and converted none of them, or converted 3 of them. So we were struggling. And then, to be honest, like when we hopped on the call with you, obviously we booked through Charlie's inbound YouTube system, and we hopped on with zero intention of buying. We just sort of wanted to see what there was to offer. And at that time, we were very, very new to business. We had no idea what we were sort of getting ourselves into. And then you did your job very well, and here we are now.
Okay,
thank you, Jack.
We'll dive into this in a second because it was a very, very difficult call for me. But that said, maybe you were talking about the fact that you were watching the YouTube channel, right? Was it all of you who were watching the YouTube channel, or just one of you specifically more than others?
Pretty much all of us, I reckon. Like when we were first starting this business, there were days where me and Angus, we would go to some public library, this is during the HSC, so last years of high school, important year. We're spending that time watching some Iman Gadzhi videos, Charlie Morgan videos. We've had this idea about we want to start a business. High school's really not the thing for any of us. Matt was kicked out. Me and Angus, we got not the best results. We knew we wanted to do something, and Matt told me about this SMMA, brought me and Angus together, and then the rest is history. We started off watching videos in a public library, and then that's
maybe you can speak about that a little bit. What was it specifically about Charlie that really stood out to you? Like, why was it that you were watching his content? Why is it that you decided to book in a call in the first place off of the back of watching his content?
Good question. I mean, I think it's clear to say that Charlie Morgan is one of the leaders in the space. He's one of the most credible, most knowledgeable, gives out the best information, best free value you could possibly give. You come into a problem with the business we're running, we're clueless. Charlie Morgan's got a video. He's giving out insane value. It's incredible. He's helped us so much. And then we've watched his EasyGrow course, dives into what he's given out in this course, and decided to book a call, and then started talking to you. You taught us everything, and then made a decision to move forward, and now the rest is history. You know, if we didn't make that decision, our lives would not be the same. Honestly,
Okay.
like
I'm very
trajectory.
excited to dive into this part of things with you when it comes to the call. But before we get to that point, then, Angus, first and foremost, actually, can you just tell everybody like how old you are? Because you said that you were finishing up high school, all of that type of stuff. So how old are you guys at the moment now?
Yeah, so currently me and Matt are 19. Victor just turned 20 on Tuesday, so 3 days ago or 4 days ago.
Happy
And
birthday.
And you,
yeah, so basically, I mean, ever since the age of sort of 17, 18, it's always just about, finding little hustles and, just working hard, whether that was just, regular job or, little side things. And then, yeah, obviously, I know towards the end of school, it was clear uni wasn't going to be a thing for us. So then, fresh 18-year-olds sort of just came together and thought, why not just give this a crack?
On this note, because you were talking about how all three of you struggled a little bit at school, like, but now here we are a year later, you've accomplished what most people take a lifetime to accomplish in the space of a year, right? So maybe you can speak to that at a very young age as well. Maybe you can speak to that a little bit about why it is that you feel like you were struggling at school, because clearly it wasn't an intelligence thing, right? Why is it that you felt like you were struggling at school a little bit?
good question. Who wants to take it?
I don't know, yeah, what to put it down to. But it's just feeling like there's got to be more to life than sort of finishing school, going straight to uni. Like, I guess for all three of us, we could all probably say there wasn't anything at school which was just standing out to us or sort of just made sense. Like, it just made sense. Okay, we finished school, now we go off to uni. Like, I guess it just really just didn't make sense to us. We all just had that dream, whether it's, lifestyle or just, wanting to start a business. It was just always there. Yeah, that's sort of why we're here now.
Okay, so from what I'm understanding, is more a case of you felt like you were uninspired, like the traditional pathway. It didn't, like the idea of being stuck in a cubicle, not being able to be in Bali for your birthdays, not being able to travel around the world, make really good money. It just left you feeling uninspired. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's kind of progress things to the call then, to the sales call that we had. I remember it vividly, and obviously, like, I've done a lot of calls at the moment, but there's certain calls that really stick out for me. And our call was one of those calls, and I was fighting so hard to try and get you guys across the line, because again, I believed, like, I knew that if you did this is exactly where you would be. But by the sounds of things, that was the first time that you'd invested like a significant amount of money into yourself. Is that correct? Okay, cool. If you can remember just individually, maybe you can kind of walk us through some of the emotions that you were feeling, especially on the back end of the call, when we spent basically like a good hour just diving into objections and, tackling concerns that you had, etc.
I think when we hopped off the call, like obviously we didn't make a decision on the first call. We put down the deposit, but I would say, I don't know, we were pretty G'd up. We believe the guarantee. We believe the 20 client guarantee. We were pretty G'd up. We were like, our lives are going to change. Obviously, you did your job very well, sort of separated us from where we are right now and where we want to be. And yeah, I think the main emotion was just like, as soon as we hopped off that first call, we knew we were moving forward, but we just wanted to, take a little bit of time to, do a bit more research online. Obviously, we hadn't, as I said before, we weren't planning on joining you guys at all. We were just kind of trying to learn a little bit more. And so obviously we hadn't actually done any research into what you guys were really selling too much. So that first call was like sort of the first sort of thing for us, which maybe for some people that are hopping on a call for you isn't the same process, but I'm too sure.
Okay.
I think also as well, I don't actually think we had the funds on the card to be able to move that course. So we had to get that together as well. So
we were broke hopping on this call, in a lot of pain, no direction, working 3-4 months, no money. Yeah, but luckily you came on this call. I remember I was so adamant, whatever the word is, my apologies, on not moving forward on the first call. I was like, there's not a single world this guy is like getting more from us. There's not a chance in the world. Like I had that paradigm of, I remember Charlie talking about like, if you have the paradigm of you can't close someone on the first call, you like won't make it happen on a sales call. That was my paradigm. It was like not a chance this person is getting any money. And we took the deposit. Me and we all talked together. It was really Matt and Angus that pushed me over the edge to commit to the program, which I'm very thankful for. So,
Okay. If that's the case, then Victor, probably you're the best person to speak to about this. What was it that shifted for you? Like, why did that start to soften up? Why is it that you started to get into the headspace of maybe I should do this? Because I also remember you guys weren't in the best financial situation at that time. It's very uncomfortable, right? When you don't have loads of money to put quite a good chunk of money down to help you get to your goals. It's a really, really uncomfortable thing. There's a lot of trust that goes into me. There's a lot of trust that goes into Charlie. So, Victor, what shifted for you? Why did you start to turn around on this?
I mean, I guess working hard, 8 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, no money coming in, no fruit of your labor, no rewards to show people that I've started this business and I'm becoming successful. That's the biggest thing with entrepreneurship is, working 12 months hard and thinking to yourself, is this going to be a waste of time? Imagine throwing 12 months away for nothing. Horrible. So we're in a lot of pain. We have no skill, no knowledge, no experience. We're just hard labor. Hopping on this call with you, you showed us all the foundations we needed to get to where we wanted to be, right? We didn't know any of the starting a business has so many different skills and areas that is impossible to learn, especially as an 18-year-old fresh out of high school. Impossible. It's completely defined knowledge. So we saw that you had the knowledge that we needed to become successful. We hopped off that call. Angus and Matt were very leaning forwards to making that decision. And, sometimes I got to trust in my business partners. Sometimes I may have the wrong mindset or wrong way of thinking. As a individual, you need to know that you need to be open-minded and persuade different ways. So Angus and Matt helped me do that, and we proceeded to move forward.
That's beautiful, because I remember saying this to you guys on the call. I was like, there's like, guys, you don't understand. There is no way you can fail. There isn't. There literally isn't. There is three of you. You cannot fail. If you do this, you're gonna succeed. And it's interesting, especially like trying to take a sales call when you're trying to sell to three people all at the same time. It's very, very difficult. So I'm not surprised to hear that that at least one of you was not fully on board. Okay, cool. Let's dive into the product then. I think one of the key things that I've picked up on already is it was really the foundations. You were niche hopping a lot. On the call, you mentioned the fact that you actually did want to transition away from plumbers and electricians and go into gyms and studios. What was the program like? Like, what individually again? What were your impressions of the product?
I think straight away we jumped into acquisition genesis, and for someone that's in our position, or for someone, just anyone that's new to the agency space, or even not so new to the agency space, but aren't as knowledgeable as someone like Charlie, like us hopping into that just like blew our minds. Like we didn't even know what a paradigm, what KPIs were before that part of the program. We pretty much just like got our mind open to like what's out there, sort of the systems that we need to put in place, and also just like the mindset and why we sort of are in the position that we are right now, and what we need to do to actually get ourselves out of the position. Because at the time we weren't capable, or the people that we needed to be making 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, K a month. And then from there, obviously we move into the, like I specialize in the sales for the business. So I took a bit of time out watching the sales module. Again, insane. From the second that I implemented the sales script, obviously first time taking sales calls in the gym niche, instantly my sales conversion rate was around 30 to 40%. This year, using the script, my sales conversion rate is around 50 to 60%. So the sales stuff is very, very good. And then also in terms like the outbound systems, like you can actually, once you learn these systems, you actually don't have to do any work. Like you can run your own ads, you can run your own email systems that don't actually take any time, and you can continuously book meetings. And yeah, as I said, it doesn't take any time out of your day. So overall, in my perspective, the course is 100% worth the money, as long as the people are willing to put in the work. Like for us, there's definitely times where maybe 1 or 2 months into the course, we still hadn't made any money in the gym niche. And obviously in our heads, we've just spent so much money, we have no money left. Like there's a lot of emotion there. But if you just stick to it, do the work, then as you said, like it's on you if you don't succeed with the course, because there's so much proof that people can succeed with the course if you aren't willing to put in the work. And it's not easy, but if you're not willing to put in the work, then I don't think you deserve to sort of make it to 10, 20, 50, whatever your goal is. So, yeah.
I can see you smiling, Victor, but I also agree with this. Like, I think it's because I speak to a lot of young guys. Like I speak to a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-olds, don't want to go the traditional path, don't want to go to university. They look at social media marketing and it's just like, oh, this is going to be easy, man. Like I'm just going to I want to make 100K. I want to make 200K. And it's like, okay, you can, but are you actually willing to put your head down and get after it? Because it's not just going to happen. Even when you've got fantastic resources in place, like you have to put in the work. So I think that's a really, really good point there, Matt. Angus, what were your thoughts on the product?
Biggest thing is with the product, like obviously in the SMMA space, getting into 10K, like that's a big goal for everyone starting out. I feel like the product, whether it's you're starting off with cold calling, or then you booking sales meetings, then you got to do the sales meeting, then you actually have to perform, run ads or whatever the service is. I feel like if you're actually trying to get to 10K, there's not a part of EasyGrow where it doesn't cover sort of the stage you're at or the next step. Like it's all, the information is there for you to sort of watch, and then you really just have to implement what Charlie's saying or what Bo's saying, and you'll get to that 10K as long as you work hard. Like that was sort of, I guess, the biggest thing for us. It was started off divine dialing, cold calling, which is obviously one of the modules. Then we've booked a sales call. Matt's watching the sales modules. He's learning how to handle objections. Then we get a client, boom, which is watching all the stuff on Facebook ads, SMS, marketing, all of those things. And it's like, it just works so well together. Like there's not a stage where you go, oh, I don't know what to do here. Like all the information is in the course, and it's also set out really well as well. Like it's not like a jumble. Like it's very easy to find what you need, and just makes it such a smooth process.
Yeah, and I think again, this really loops back into what Matt was saying. Like it's so step by step. Like if you just put your left foot in front of your right foot for 6 months and just follow the process, you're going to get to where you want to be. Okay, cool. And lastly, of course, Victor, what were your thoughts? The person who I didn't manage to quite sell on the product, when you actually were able to see the product for yourself, how did you feel about the materials that you were going through at X, Y, and Z?
The product is amazing. I don't think there's anything like it on the market currently. I mean, what you put into it to purchase a product, you will get tenfold back, guaranteed. Not a single doubt in my mind. If you put in the work, you will get everything back tenfold. With the program, it literally lays out everything you need to run a successful SMMA. Right, with this SMMA dream, it's sold to young people like us, fresh out of high school, don't want to do university. Very easy way to make 10K a month, right? You're entrepreneur, you have your own business. But I can tell you now, it is far from easy. One of the, you don't know what you're getting into. And when we, go into this completely blindfolded, so many problems arise. There's so many reasons to give up, just can't do it. But with this program, it gives you everything you need, everything. We spend just days and days just watching content hour after hour, taking everything in, and we've built up such a successful business from it. It's amazing. Everything we need. If there's a problem, like Angus was saying, you just go to this part of the section, this module, this video here, solved, right? And then alongside, you have an amazing group of people, coaches, weekly coaching calls. It's everything you need to run a successful business, without a doubt.
I think the community as well, having access to all of these other people on the exact same journey as you, whether they're a few stages ahead of you or they're a little bit behind you, like you can just ask a question and, 9 times out of 10, someone's faced that question before as well, or faced that challenge. And, like they have the answer for you. You even have access to Charlie. Charlie's active in that community. He's replying to people. He's, sharing his advice. It's not like you join the course and you just get given this information. You can actually, talk to others, network to an extent, which I think is great. And yeah.
And I think, me personally, I think that's one of the most understated value bombs of getting involved in some sort of program or some sort of community, is just surrounding yourself with people who are exactly like you want to be, being able to have those conversations with people who are already successful. And I kind of want to dive more into like the mindset side of things now, because I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm sure that stage when we had a conversation last year, that 10K goal was like a pedestal. It's like a massive threshold, and it is. But being in the position that you're in now, I'm sure if you drop down to 10K on a monthly basis, like you'd be really, really pissed off. So I guess really the question that I have for you is, again, individually, when you look at the versions of yourselves that you are right now, in comparison to who you were a year ago, what do you feel like has changed on an internal level as well?
I think it's just night and day. Like it really, like the program, like the mindset module, the acquisition genesis really opens up your mind to just all the foundations. And then once your mind's been open to like all these new perspectives, you kind of, you dive into like why you aren't where you want to be, why, you're putting in the work, but you're not seeing the result, etc. And then from there, once you have all the foundations down, then you hop into the sales module, then you hop into the cold outbound modules, then you hop into the service delivery, whatever it is. And once you have those foundations, everything else just seems to make so much more sense. So like, for example, before I hopped into EasyGrow, even at the start of EasyGrow, I had so much self-doubt, especially when it comes to sales. Me and Angus were still kind of sharing more of the sales at that point, and I just had so much self-doubt. And then especially once we got into the gym niche, we started off selling people on no retainer, just pay on results. And even then I was like skeptical, I was like nervous, I didn't think I could do it. And then after that, we sort of increased our price to $2,300 upfront for 3 months. And for me, going from selling people on nothing to selling people on 2.3 grand, like even though right now we understand that that's no money at all, just like the mindset when you first get into like something like this, especially as such a young kid, you sort of just don't believe that it's possible. Like you don't believe that someone's going to hand over $2,300 to you on that first call. And now we have people signing on to five grand plus deals, just like, and every time I hop on a call, like I expect like I'm going to close them. Like I feel like there's no reason why they shouldn't close. And if they do not close, then I'm kind of pissed off. Like, I'm not pissed off, but like obviously I understand it happens. But I'm always thinking to myself, like, what can I do to improve that? Where could what could I have done different to get them over the line? Because now with my current paradigm, I know that everyone that hops on a call with me, we can potentially solve their issue, but it's just like down to me. It's on me, my job to actually portray the value to them and then actually get them over the line. So for me specifically, just this, like how much I've grown in sales and just my mindset is, it's crazy.
Okay, cool. I guess last 2 questions then for you guys. One of you can feel free to answer this one. Do you feel like you would have got to this point without, and I know it's such a loaded question, but it's a good question to just ask. Do you feel like you would have got to this point without using the product?
No, I think the kind of people we are would definitely still be working on the business, working at SMMA. But I think, you know, realistically, we'll be a little bit more ahead of where we were when we joined, but we wouldn't be at 25K a month. We wouldn't have all the foundations in place, all of the systems in place to actually scale as well. Like, it's one thing getting a few clients, but scaling is a whole different thing. And, you know, the course does show you how to do that, because you do need those foundations. And I think just how set up the business is now, you know, we all have our sections that we work in. We all have, you know, what we're good at, you know, others not so good at, so they do a different thing. It just all works so well together, and all the foundations are there. And really, without EasyGrow, like, you know, we'd still be cold calling without using metrics. Like, it's just so many simple things which EasyGrow has taught us, and simple things that we probably don't even think about, that just in the back end of the business on a day-to-day basis, that without them, you know, you can't scale. So yeah, 100%.
Okay. Last question then. And I think this question should go to Victor, so we can wrap this up in a nice sequence. For anybody who is on the fence, like maybe they got on a call with me, maybe they got on a call with one of the other reps. They're thinking, man, this is going to be a lot of money for me to put down. I don't know if I should do this. Considering that obviously you were a little bit uncertain as well. Now you're on the other side of this, you know, man to man, like brother to brother, like what is it that you would say to them at that point in time where they're like, I don't know if I should take that step or not?
I mean, what I would say is I think they need to ask themselves a few questions. One, are they willing to put in the work? Two, like, are they really dedicated to making this SMMA successful? If you can't answer those questions, don't take the program. But if you do say yes, this is exactly what you need. It's impossible. For what we've achieved, especially by ourselves, it would be absolutely impossible without this program. Running a business there's so many different areas and skills and expertise and knowledge you need to learn in a few months. It's impossible. Like this program gives you all the foundations you need to run a successful program. If you are thinking about I purchase this program, it's an absolute bet. There's no doubt in my mind that you will fail with this program if you put in the work. If you put in the work, there is no way you fail. That's as simple as that. I think
you sound like me, bro.
Have a track record that proves what they do is the real deal. I think it's fair to say that the best product in the market, it's a no-brainer. If you're serious about it, take the leap.
Beautiful. Well, look, guys, I want to thank you for your time. I also want to congratulate you again on all of your success and for being in the position now where you're traveling around the globe. Like you told me literally last year, Jack, we don't want to go to university. That's not going to be the life that we live. We want to be in the position where we have a multi-six-figure agency and we are traveling around the world. And you have managed to accomplish that in a very, very short period of time. So I'm very excited for what comes next. And yeah, guys, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jack.
All the best, boys. Bye.
Bye.